time now for Entre Nous today with Solange Mougin. Hi, Solange.
Hi, Jenny.
So today you're talking about second homes. Second homes were really a hot button issue in the mayoral campaign in the run-up to the municipal elections. Tell us about that. Why?
Yeah, they really were. Now, it is completely normal for mayoral candidates and mayors to discuss housing, but specifically this issue of second homes was actually a central theme in many campaigns with an increasing number of rather strict proposals, such as actually banning second homes. So I thought we'd dive into how many second homes there really are in France, who owns them, the issues and the benefits that they create, and what mayors are doing or trying to do in regard to these résidences secondaires, or second homes in French. So how many are there really? Well, France has a whopping 3.7 million second homes, according to l'INSEE. This is just under 10% of housing, and that percentage has actually been quite stable over the past decade. What has changed, though, in recent years is the very definition of what a second home is or what they're used for by their owners. It's not only the old family farm anymore or the retirement plan. It can also be a city studio where you live if you live far from the office. It can be a speculative, short-term Airbnb rental or the leisure getaway. As for where they are located in France, some 40% of these second homes are along France's coasts, and some 16% are in the mountains. Many are actually located as well in cities like Paris. And with each community, there are different problems. In some places, you have what people refer to as a cold bed phenomenon, or a lit froid phenomenon, or a closed shutter one, a volet fermé phenomenon. This is where, except for the holidays or weekends, these places become ghost towns with very few permanent residents. And that has an impact on affordability and the quality of life in these places.
We can't live only during vacation periods. We need clients and shops all year long. If we don't want our schools to close, we need children in them. And those children are the kids of the city's permanent residents.
So Solange, who owns France's second homes? Is it just the wealthy, or are there a lot of foreigners who own them as well?
Well, actually, only about 10% of second homes are owned by people who do not live in France full-time, with the top 5 being Belgians, Brits, Germans, Dutch, Swiss, and Americans top the non-European nationality. Beyond that, some 90% of second homes are owned by people who live in France. And there is a strong tradition in France of a family home that is passed down through the generations, or a weekend or a vacation retreat, or even an investment property for the retirement years. This especially became true following the 1960s and 70s urbanization plans like the Plan Neige and the Mission Racine. And l'INSEE has found that actually some 2/3 of these properties are owned by those over 60 years of age. But that does not mean that they are all rich. Contrary to the stereotypes that we have of these homes, only 34% of second homes are owned by the higher socioeconomic categories. That's according to l'INSEE's 2021 study on this. And this is important to keep in mind when we think of the stereotypes or this grumbling that full-time locals can no longer afford to buy or rent because of the rich second homeowners. And in some places, that is the case, though, but not always and not everywhere. And one of the steps that many municipalities have taken on is to levy a surtax on these second homes. This helps with local budgets, and many mayors see it as a push for owners to either rent out their places full-time or to sell. But it is debatable whether that is actually working or not.
At some point, people will question whether it's worthwhile to pay all this money for something they use for a week.
People have second homes here that they use for 2-3 months a year. They use it to host grandkids. They're not going to rent it out for the year.
We always feel it's too expensive.
We're not going to sell it. It doesn't change anything.
So Solange, we've talked about this issue of ghost towns in the off-season, say, but there are other issues like rising prices that have pushed mayors to say something needs to be done.
Yeah, in 2024, a new law came into effect, the Loi Echanise-Le-Meur, and it gave municipalities greater power to set guidelines for second homes. And this is one of the reasons that the issue was so prevalent in the 2026 municipal campaigns. Not only have short-term rentals like Airbnb skyrocketing rising real estate prices and COVID mobility. They have changed the paradigm here. But there are also now these new options in addition to raising the taxes. And one of those options, for example, is banning second homes entirely on all new builds. And the city of Chamonix decided to go for this route. On February 26th, the area's council voted in a new urbanization plan, and it stipulates that new builds in central areas of Chamonix must be for full-time residents or renters only. Those clauses will be added to the sales and the rental contracts. The fine goes up to 100,000 euros if you don't do it. Prior to the vote, the outgoing mayor said that he hopes it will help locals find housing. But for others, they say that the price in Chamonix, some 15,000 euros per meter squared, is already too high and it won't do much.
In Chamonix, 70% of the housing is second homes. We feel we've hit the maximum limit. One of the only solutions is to put in place a specific measure where new builds are primary residences.
I don't see how it adds up. Considering the price per square meter, no one dares say that it's too late. The prices went too high.
Now, at 70% second homes, Chamonix, this famous ski town where the Mont Blanc is, it doesn't hold the record for the most second homes, though. That actually belongs to Germes in the Pyrenees. It has 33 residents, and 97% of its housing is second homes. But nonetheless, too many second homes can have trickle-down effects, be it on the soul of a place, but also on its sustainability year-round. The tricky bit for mayors is try to figure out that right equilibrium between welcoming second home residents with their economic push, but also ensuring a vibrant community all year round.
All right, Solange, thank you so much for that look at second homes in France. It's fascinating stuff. Don't forget, if you want to take a closer look at this entrepreneur or any of the others we've done for you, you can always check it out on our website, france24.com.